While every other YouTube movie reviewer is sharing their thoughts on the new Deadpool film, I'm going to keep up with my trend of talking about films nobody cares about anymore. This one will have to be quick though. We've been celebrating Natalie's birthday all weekend, and I've eaten so many cookies that I'm starting to feel a little... Anyone who is interested in Spotlight in the first place probably knows what it's about. In 2001, a new editor was hired on at the Boston Globe, a newspaper based in Boston. He, after reading an article detailing how a Roman Catholic cardinal did nothing when discovering that a local priest had molested children, puts an investigative journalist team named Spotlight on the story. What they went on to uncover was that a more than uncomfortable percentage of priests across the world were molesting children, and the Catholic Church was keeping them hidden by moving them to different parishes. The story went global and resulted in a complete retooling of the Catholic Church's infrastructure that's still being dealt with to this day with the aim of protecting children from pedophile priests. In 2003, the Boston Globe and the Spotlight team won the Pulitzer Prize for public service. It's a shame that I have to keep this review so short because Spotlight is, without a doubt, one of the best films from 2015. It's one of those rare instances in which a film transcends being good and becomes important. While I do have a bias toward any movie that has people hastily walking and talking through the bullpen at a newspaper office, there's no denying that the concept would fall flat without strong dialogue handled by superb actors. When it comes to films dedicated to news gathering, nothing is nearly as crucial as dialogue, pacing, and structure. It's what makes movies like All the President's Men and Zodiac so compelling. They dole out the information appropriately while building anticipation and generating interest through sharp conversations that seem to fight against holding the audience's hand. They treat the viewer as if they're intelligent enough to keep up with the information instead of updating us every 15 minutes in some boring as hell expository scene that brings the film to a grinding halt. For me, that's what's most appealing about movies built like the way Spotlight seem to have been built, and it's a major reason why it was my most anticipated film from 2015. I was also 16 in 2003 when the story broke about the Catholic priest scandal, and to this day it's a subject that, for whatever reason, interests me endlessly. I cannot recommend another film on the subject more than the 2006 documentary Deliver Us from Evil. While the uncovering of the pedophile priest was at the forefront of the film's narrative, Tom McCarthy smartly used the story as a way to illustrate how integral investigative journalism was in the realm of gathering news not even 15 years ago.
The story is an example of really strong local investigative journalism that had at first a national impact, then a global impact. That's an important thing to remember, especially today where investigative journalism has taken a huge hit.
It was in using the Spotlight team's investigation into what became the Catholic priest scandal that the audience is shown how little care is shown towards investigative journalism today. That level of commentary and subtext goes a long way of promising the audience that there will be more of a takeaway than just earning and understanding for what the Spotlight team went through to gather their information. With regard to the acting, everyone delivered exceptionally well. If any performance took me out of the movie, it would have been Mark Ruffalo's for two reasons. One, he was overly dramatic at times that felt more Hollywood and less realistic, and those moments stood out more because the performances surrounding his felt so grounded that anything feeling even slightly inauthentic stuck out like a sore thumb. Two, and I know he's just trying to portray the real Mike Resendez, but his post-stroke lip limp was kind of distracting from time to time. While I did eventually forget about it, those first few scenes with him had me wondering what the hell his face was doing. For me, the standout performance without a doubt was Liev Schreiber. It's difficult to make a monotone compelling, but every single time he was on screen, I was absolutely captivated. Why he isn't getting more recognition for his performance is beyond me. Spotlight is a nice comeback after the eye infection that was The Cobbler, and Tom McCarthy deserves all the praise he and the film have been getting. The dialogue is virtually pitch perfect, it's smart, compelling, and never drags. The editing is paced eloquently, as is the camera work and shot composition. If you're a glutton for dialogue-driven films like I am, Spotlight is essential watching. It tackles inherently touchy subjects gracefully without shying away from how terrifying the discoveries were. It's superb, emotional, and important.